Shalini, Manish, you can tell me when you're ready, when people have been let in, yeah?
We're ready, Shantam.
Good morning, dear friends. Welcome to our recitation of the 14 mindfulness trainings. So this morning we will start with a meditation, and then I'll give a brief about what the 14 trainings are and how they came about in the order of interbeing. And then we will have a recitation shared by 4 of our senior order of interbeing friends, Poonam, Sahi, Manish Kalrani, Gitanjali Seth, and Ajir Vidya. And then we'll end by sharing merit, as we always do. So please sit in a stable posture, upright posture. Posture in itself, the intentionality of a posture helps with the meditation of mindfulness. See if you can have your spine straight, your head resting on your shoulders, gently, shoulders back a little. Arms can be on your lap. Just the hands resting on your lap. And if you're sitting on a chair, your feet can be on the ground. If you're sitting on a cushion, sitting cross-legged, in ease and alertness. And if you feel comfortable, you can gently close your eyes. And just feel your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Just feeling your breath as if it's for the first time. Every time I sit down, I notice my breath is a little different each time. Just following the calm flow of the breath as we breathe in and as we breathe out. What is unique at this moment as you feel your breath, in your breath? Just feeling the breath in your abdomen, the gentle rise and fall of the abdomen. If your mind is distracted, you might want to take 2 or 3 long, deep in breaths and 2 or 3 longer out breaths as you exhale gently. And just enjoying the breath. As you breathe in, you're aware you're breathing in. And as we breathe out, we're aware we're breathing out. And feeling the whole length of the breath, from the beginning of the in-breath to the end of the in-breath, from the beginning of the out-breath to the end of the out-breath. And noticing when it's a short breath, when it's a long breath. Noticing the quality of the breathing, with the deep breath, the slow breath. And as we breathe in, we calm our body. And as we breathe out, we feel a sense of relaxation in the whole body. Calming the body, relaxing the body. And just being aware of different parts of the body as we relax them. Breathing in, I'm aware of my eyes. Breathing out, I relax the muscles around my eyes. And as I breathe in, I'm aware of my face, relaxing the muscles in my face. And relaxing the shoulders. Sometimes you might find it easy to raise your shoulders and drop them just to feel that sense of relaxation. Relaxing your arms, being aware of our torso and relaxing our whole torso. And bringing in awareness to our legs and relaxing our legs. Is being aware of the whole body as we breathe in and relaxing our whole body as we breathe out. and bringing that gentle half smile on our face to know we are alive in this very moment. So, friends, you may want to massage your face, your legs. So, friends, today we'll be doing the recitation of the 14 trainings. The 14 trainings are part of the order of interbeing that was set up by Thich Nhat Hanh in 1966 in the midst and the context of the war in Vietnam. And he'd already set up an institution called the School for Youth for Social Service, where there were more than 10,000 people. And his feeling was that the practitioners should not be sitting in a monastery chanting when bombs are falling all around. And initially there were just 6 people, and now there are more than 3,000, including some of us in India. And the first initial 6 were lay people, but now they're monastics and lay people. And really, it's an articulation of engaged Buddhism and spirituality in action. So, how to practice in the midst of suffering in a way that is relevant to our times, and how to practice to transform our habit energies so that we can transform society in a way of compassion and of understanding. So, the charter of the order, which had 4 principles, as it were, and these are found in all Buddhist traditions, the charter, and they inform all the 14 trainings. The first is the non-attachment to views, and not to be attached to means not to be caught in any dogmas or prejudices or habits, that we consider the truth, as it were. And the second is the direct realization of the truths through meditation. So realizing that the nature of interdependent origination through mindfulness meditation, not some intellectual or philosophical way. And these are the 2 most important guidelines, and then for attaining true understanding. And then the next 2 are for action. The third one is relevance, making it relevant and appropriate to what the Buddha was teaching, and also to the audience that we are addressing at this point. And so it should be a teaching that brings understanding and compassion to people. And the fourth is what we call skillful means. This refers to the language, the images, the methods that are used by a teacher to share the teachings. So in the order, there's a core community and there's an extended community. And the core community have taken the vow to practice these 14 trainings. So these 14 trainings are normally shared by the people every month. And so this time we thought we'll open it out to the whole community. And there are all different aspects of the trainings. We always start with the determination to refrain from negative actions. And then once we are aware of the negative consequence of those actions, we don't want to do that. And then to also commit to performing positive actions and doing something that is beneficial to others. So we always say the 14 mindfulness trainings are the very essence of the order of interbeing. They are the torch lighting our path, the boat carrying us, the teacher guiding us. And they allow us to touch the nature of interbeing in everything that is. and to see that our happiness is not separate from the happiness of others. We see that interbeing is not a theory, it is a reality that can be directly experienced by each of us at any moment in our daily lives. So the 14 trainings help us cultivate concentration and insight, which free us from fear and illusion of a separate self. So today we are grateful to Ajir and Poonam and Manish and Gitu, all senior members of the Order of Interbeing, to recite the trainings today. So please listen to each mindfulness training with a serene mind and consider the mindfulness training as a clear mirror in which to look at ourselves. And you may want to say yes silently every time you see that you made an effort to study, practice, and observe the mindfulness training read. So these are the 14 mindfulness trainings of the Order of Interbeing. And the first one is on openness, and Poonam will be sharing that.
First mindfulness training, openness. Aware of the suffering created by fanaticism and intolerance, we are determined not to be idolatrous about or bound to any doctrine, theory, or ideology, even Buddhist ones. We are committed to seeing the Buddhist teachings as a guiding means that help us to look deeply and develop understanding and compassion. They are not doctrines to fight, kill, or die for. We understand that fanaticism in its many forms is the result of perceiving things in a dualistic or discriminative manner. We will train ourselves to look at everything with openness and the insight of interbeing in order to transform dogmatism and violence in ourselves and the world.
This is the first mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The second mindfulness training, non-attachment to views. Aware of the suffering created by attachment to views and wrong perceptions, we are determined to avoid being narrow-minded and bound to present views. We are committed to learning and practicing non-attachment to views and being open to others' experiences and insights in order to benefit from the collective wisdom. We are aware that the knowledge we presently possess is not changeless, absolute truth. Insight is revealed through the practice of compassionate listening, deep looking, and letting go of notions rather than through the accumulation of intellectual knowledge. Truth is found in life, and we will observe life within and around us in every moment, ready to learn throughout our lives.
This is the second mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
third mindfulness training, freedom of thought. Aware of the suffering brought about when we impose our views on others, we are determined not to force others, even our children, by any means whatsoever, such as authority, threat, money, propaganda, or indoctrination to adopt our views. We are committed to respecting the rights of others to be different, to choose what we believe and how to decide. We will, however, learn to help others let go of and transform fanaticism and narrowness through loving speech and compassionate dialogue.
This is the third mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The fourth mindfulness training, awareness of suffering. Aware that looking deeply at nature of suffering can help us develop understanding and compassion. We are determined to come home to ourselves, to recognize, accept, embrace, and listen to our own suffering with energy of mindfulness. We will do our best not to run away from our suffering or cover it up through consumption, but practice conscious breathing and walking to look deeply into the roots of our suffering. We know we can realize the path leading to the transformation of suffering only when we understand deeply the roots of suffering. Once we have understood our own suffering, we will be able to understand the suffering of others. We are committed to finding ways, including personal contact and using telephone, electronic, audiovisual, and other means to be with those who suffer so we can help them transform their suffering into compassion, peace, and joy.
This is the fourth mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The fifth mindfulness training, compassionate, healthy living. Aware that true happiness is rooted in peace, solidity, freedom, and compassion, we are determined not to accumulate wealth while millions are hungry and dying, nor to take as aim of our life fame, power, wealth, or sensual pleasure, which can bring much suffering and despair. We will practice looking deeply into how we nourish our body and mind with edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. We are committed not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products which bring toxins into our own and collective body and consciousness, such as certain websites, electronic games, music, TV, programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. We will consume in a way that preserve compassion, well-being, and joy in our bodies and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of our families, our society, and the earth.
This is the fifth mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The sixth mindfulness training, taking care of anger. Aware that anger blocks communication and creates suffering, we are committed to taking care of the energy of anger when it arises and to recognize and transforming the seeds of anger that lie deep in our consciousness. When anger manifests, we are determined not to do or say anything, but to practice mindful breathing or mindful walking to acknowledge, embrace, and look deeply into our anger. We know that the roots of anger are not outside of ourselves, but can be found in our wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of suffering in ourselves and others. By contemplating impermanence, we will be able to look with eyes of compassion at ourselves and at those we think are cause of our anger, and to recognize the preciousness of our relationships. We will practice right diligence in order to nourish our capacity of understanding, love, joy, and inclusiveness, gradually transforming our anger, violence, and fear, and helping others to do the same.
This is the sixth mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The seventh mindfulness training, dwelling happily in the present moment. Aware that life is available only in the present moment, we are committed to training ourselves to live deeply each moment of daily life. We will try not to lose ourselves in dispersion or be carried away by regrets about the past, worries about the future, or craving, anger, or jealousy in the present. We will practice mindful breathing to be aware of what is happening in the here and the now. We are determined to learn the art of mindful living by touching the wondrous, refreshing, and healing elements that are inside and around us in all situations. In this way, we will be able to cultivate seeds of joy, peace, love, and understanding in ourselves, thus facilitating the work of transformation and healing in our consciousness. We are aware that real happiness depends primarily on our mental attitude and not on external conditions, and that we can live happily in the present moment simply by remembering that we already have more than enough conditions to be happy.
This is the seventh mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The eighth mindfulness training, true community and communication. Aware that lack of communication always brings separation and suffering, we are committed to training ourselves in the practice of compassionate listening and loving speech, knowing that true community is rooted in inclusiveness and in the concrete practice of the harmony of views, thinking, and speech. We will practice to share our understanding and experiences with members in our community in order to arrive at collective insight. We're determined to learn to listen deeply without judging or reacting and refrain from uttering words that can create discord or cause the community to break. Whenever difficulties arise, we will remain in our Sangha and practice looking deeply into ourselves and others to recognize all the causes and conditions, including our own habit energies that have brought about the difficulties. We will take responsibility for all the ways we may have contributed to the conflict and keep communication open. We will not behave as a victim, but be active in finding ways to reconcile and resolve all conflicts, however small.
This is the eighth mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The ninth mindfulness training, truthful and loving speech. Aware that words can create happiness or suffering, we are committed to learning to speak truthfully, lovingly, and constructively. We will use only words that inspire joy, confidence, and hope, as well as promote reconciliation and peace in ourselves and among other people. We will speak and listen in a way that can help ourselves and others to transform suffering and see the way out of difficult situations. We are determined not to say untruthful things for the sake of personal interest or to impress people, nor to utter words that might cause division or hatred. We will protect the happiness and harmony of our Sangha by refraining from speaking about the faults of other persons in their absence, and always ask ourselves whether our perceptions are correct. We will speak only with the intention to understand and help transform the situation. We will not spread rumors, nor criticize or condemn things of which we are not sure. We will do our best to speak out about situations of injustice, even when doing so may make difficulties for us or threaten our safety.
This is the 9th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The 10th mindfulness training, protecting and nourishing the Sangha. Aware that the essence and aim of a Sangha is the practice of understanding and compassion, we determine not to use the Buddhist community for personal power or profit, or transform our community into a political instrument. As members of a spiritual community, we should nonetheless take a clear stand against oppression and injustice. We should strive to change the situation without taking sides in a conflict. We are committed to learning to look with the eyes of interbeing and to see ourselves and others as cells in one Sangha body. As a true cell in the Sangha body, generating mindfulness, concentration, and insight to nourish ourselves and the whole community, each of us is at the same time a cell in the Buddha body. We will actively build brotherhood and sisterhood, flow as a river, and practice to develop the three real powers: understanding, love, and cutting through afflictions to realize collective awakening.
This is the 10th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The 11th mindfulness training, right livelihood. Aware that great violence and injustice have been done to our environment and society, we're committed not to live with a vocation that is harmful to humans and nature. We will do our best to select a livelihood that contributes to the well being of all species on Earth and helps realize our ideal of understanding and compassion. Aware of economic, political, and social realities around the world, as well as our interrelationship with the ecosystem, we're determined to behave responsibly as consumers and as citizens. We will not invest in or purchase from companies that contribute to the depletion of natural resources, harm the earth, or deprive others of their chance to live.
This is the 11th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The 12th mindfulness training, reverence for life, aware that much suffering is caused by war and conflict, we are determined to cultivate non-violence, compassion, and the insight of the interbeing in our daily lives and promote peace, education, mindful meditation, and reconciliation within families, communities, ethnic and the religious groups, nations, and in the world. We are committed not to kill and not to let others kill. We will not support any act of killing in the world, in our thinking, or in our way of life. We will diligently practice deep looking with our Sangha to discover better ways to protect life, prevent war, and build peace.
This is the 12th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The 13th mindfulness training, generosity, aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression. We are committed to cultivating generosity in our way of thinking, speaking, and acting. We will practice loving kindness by working for the happiness of people, animals, plants, and minerals, and sharing the time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. We are determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. We will respect the property of others, but will try to prevent others from profiting from human suffering or the suffering of other beings.
This is the 13th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month?
The 14th mindfulness training, True Love, for lay members, aware that sexual desire is not love and that sexual relations motivated by craving cannot dissipate the feeling of loneliness, but will create more suffering, frustration, and isolation. We are determined not to engage in sexual relationship without mutual understanding, love, and a deep, long commitment made known to our family and friends. Seeing that body and mind are not separate from each other, we are committed to learning appropriate ways to take care of our sexual energy and to cultivating loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness for our own happiness and the happiness of others. We must be aware of the future suffering that may be caused by sexual relations. We know that to preserve the happiness of ourselves and others, we must respect the rights and the commitments of ourselves and others. We will do everything in our power to protect children from sexual abuse and to protect couples and the families from being broken by sexual misconduct. We will treat our bodies with compassion and respect. We are determined to look deeply into the four nutriments and learn ways to preserve and channel our vital energies, sexual, breath, spirit, for the realization of our bodhisattva ideal. We will be fully aware of the responsibility of bringing new lives in the world and will regularly meditate upon their future environment.
This is the 14th mindfulness training of the Order of Interbeing. Have you made an effort to study, practice, and observe it during the past month? Brothers and sisters, I don't know if I can be heard.
Yes, you can.
I hear you.
Okay. So, brothers and sisters, we have recited the 14 mindfulness trainings of the Order of Interbeing as the community had wished. And we thank all our brothers and sisters for helping us do it serenely. And we always share the merit of any practice we do as we conclude the practice. So I will do that in a slightly formal way. Reciting the trainings, practicing the way of awareness gives rise to benefits without limits. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path. So thank you, dear friends, and enjoy today and each day. And if we can practice these 14 trainings, even a part of it, of course, it's very difficult to say yes or no to each thing, but it's a practice, it's a training. So we continue to cultivate that energy of practice in ourselves. And if you want to access these 14 trainings, you can write to us at ahimsa.trust@gmail.com or look at the Plum Village website. You'll be able to find these 14 trainings. And it's a wonderful sort of, as we said, a teacher to guide us, because we are our own teacher. And of course, these are just words, but how to cultivate the words into an energy of awakening is part of our practice. So enjoy the practice, and may we all awaken both individually and collectively. Thank you so much. So we can end now. Is that okay? I just realized that I'm still on live. I couldn't see myself at all in this program. So suddenly I managed to come back on. Thank you very much.